Hey everybody, so welcome back. Today we're going to start working on the base now that we have Dotacurus. This entire video is a 400 speed up, so I'm just going to do a voiceover during it. First we need to make a saddle. Easy peasy. Get him on the Dotacurus. Now he's a low level, he's only a level 12 tamed, so he doesn't actually have a lot of weight. So pretty much the only thing we're going to apply to him for any levels up, and that's not a rock you can hit. The only thing we're going to apply to levels up are weight. Pretty much the whole thing, the entire time we have him. Because he has 1,000 life, and he's not really going to get in fights. His stamina is not actually all that bad. So what I like to do, if I don't have a wood collecting animal, which I don't, is collect up as much wood about as he can, collect up about as much stone as he can hold. And then, oh, my Alexa thingy just kicked off. So, then I could just pull all the stone over with the thatch and the wood that I just picked up, and then go off and make. So this is pretty much going to be a stone-based house, but it's going to be over water. So it's going to be pillar. It's going to have a lot of pillars to keep it up off the water. And basically, this is the goal. If you had a wood collecting animal, then you can collect the thatch yourself pretty easily, and then just have both animals follow you. This would go even faster, but you'll see. I actually collect up, that'll be over 40 pillars, and really not that much time. The Dotacurus makes making stuff with wood, making stuff with stone so much easier. Alright, so that's going to give us about more than we could probably carry, so I think we drop it on the Dotacurus for right now. Not Dodo. And he's coming. And hello, Mr. Turtle, how are you? Okay, so we need to find the first spot for where the first pillar is going to go. That's like your crucial one, because if it's crooked, the whole thing will end up being crooked. So I think that looks pretty good. Now, the one thing I didn't think about when I was over there, and why are all my animals moved out of the way? They must have all attacked something. I don't really want that otter attacking stuff, because that otter just really has almost no life. And where's my bird? Oh, there he is, way over there. Okay, so let's bring him back. Okay, everybody's good now. We need to make some thatch ceilings. And there's really two ways. There's a problem with pillars and then putting ceilings on top of them for your floors. And what happens is you end up with this little bump from the pillar. And there's really two ways to deal with that. One way is to put down all of your pillars first, and then lay your just ceiling on top of the pillar, and then you won't have a bump. But that's really hard to do because you end up having a lot more pillars than necessary. So this method is you're putting down a thatch roof, and which does have the bump, and then we'll show you how we fix that problem. But get a good amount of thatch down first. I think we're, because what we'll end up having, oh, so this one right there would not have the bump. But for everything to look the same, I needed to redo it so that the pillar actually did stick up. It didn't look right. So if you notice when you start to do the pillars against the ceiling, a lot of times it'll want to go halfway through. And if you bring the camera down just a little bit slower, you'll get it to drop to the lower point. And for me, it really helped if I turned my face so I wasn't looking into the building. Because if you look into the building and start to pull your head down, the pillar kind of jumps, might find a different snap point. You'll actually see it. Oh, I just did it right there. Okay, so I really need to be looking either further away or kind of off to the side so I'm not looking into the building. So it's it goes pretty quick. I mean, everything goes quick at 400 speed, but... And so you can go basically every other pillar, every other building block, every other ceiling, and then you're going to have a pillar. Now, at the end, I actually have a little bit more pillars than was absolutely necessary, but it's more for symmetrical looks and feels. So I don't think, yeah, okay, yeah, we're getting to the point where it's nice to have something you could just drop stuff in because things get heavy. Alright, the Dodocurus can carry a good amount of stuff. Now, the Dodocurus, some of these supply animals, if you're not familiar with the supply animals, they have a weight reduction. So for the Dodocurus, he's not only good at collecting stone, he's also really good at holding stone. He's a pretty good swimmer too. He doesn't burn a lot of weight by holding stone. It's like a 75% reduction. So if it would be 100 on you, it's going to be 25 on him. Okay, so there we go. That's what I want to see. I want to make a couple of the stone ceilings because we're going to have stone ceilings and that's going to be our floor. All right. The always question is, what are you going to run out of first? Are you going to run out of stone? Are you going to run out of wood or thatch? And I think thatch ends up being my problem because I'm also doing the thatch foundations, which burns a lot of thatch. Alright, so I think we're heading back over there now. What else do you need to know about this? I'm kind of doing it in the shallow spots, so it's only going to, mostly the pillars are going to be 2 deep. But the ones in the very, very back, I think, are going to be in 3 deep. I'm going to make this thing quite large. Probably larger than I originally expected to. And I'll show you why in a little bit. Okay, so we want to put the first one. Now see how it's doubled up like that? It actually makes it look a little bit thicker too, because you technically don't have to have the thatch foundation once you have the stone up there. But I kind of like it because it makes the whole foundation look a little thicker. It gives a little more texture. If all you did was kept the stone ceilings, it looks really, really thin. It's just a aesthetic thing. So you see how I kind of went in these little, I have these open spots because I was waiting on the pillars to go in. And then the other tip that I do is I don't put the stone foundation until I'm at the length I'm gonna be. So I don't want to stick it up to the wall because if you stick it up, I mean, all the way to the edge, if you might make it larger, because the problem being is that there are 2 snap points, and then it gets really hard to catch the right snap point. So if you just wait for the ceilings until you know that there is one more block off to the edge that we don't have to worry about. I don't know if that really came across very well, but we're just building the crap out of this thing. It's not really meant to hold animals on it, but this will end up being large enough that we could put some of the small animals on there, especially if they're going to keep getting attacked, like that otter. I don't want that otter in fights. You know, he only has like 46 health points, so he really cannot take more than like maybe 1 hit. I don't know if y'all caught it in the last video. I'm pretty sure I left it in there, where he fought a saber-toothed salmon, and I think I had to kill it for him. But he took like 1 hit and was like almost all blood. He just really can't take a lot. But you know, otters are so rare to find. You take what you can find and you work with it. Dodocurus is by water and take what you can find and deal with it. Alright. Knock this part out. Knock these out. I think that's as wide as I'm going to go. Pretty sure that's about as wide as I'm going to go. But my thought is right here that I'll be able to actually go all the way over to the stone area if I wanted to. What you got in there? You got some more stone on you? Okay. Now if you're playing solo, I know I made something like this before in a different map, and if you're playing solo, you actually don't really need walls and a roof and stuff like that, because nobody's going to take your stuff. If you're playing PvE, I think you pretty much do need walls. You do need doors, but you don't really have to do a whole lot to them because people can't unlock them. And I don't think they're destroyable because it's PvE, not PvP. Okay, I'm going to make it a little bit deeper, it looks like. But when you're playing solo, none of that stuff actually matters. Now, if you notice, I'm trying to back up a little bit when I'm putting the second one on there, because what it wants to do, if you're looking straight down, it's going to want to put it at the same snap point as the thatch roof, and that's not what you want, because at the top of a pillar there are 2 snap points. The thatch is on the lower snap point, and the stone ceiling is on the upper snap point. So I had to kind of back up every time and look up a little bit, so it would always pick up the top snap point. And I'm also being a little bit careful when I'm making these thatch ceilings, because if y'all remember, the thatch actually ends up being heavier after you the thatch is heavier after you actually use it, after you make it, than it is the raw materials. And we need some more pillars. Hopefully he's got some. Nope, he doesn't have stone. Okay, let's go get some more stone. In all reality, could you make this out of wood? Yes, you probably could. The only thing you'd ever have to be careful with is if you somehow aggroed a water animal and it just started gnawing at all your stuff, you know, the wood could get destroyed. And if they destroy too many of the pillars, you're going to start to lose your building. And since we're going to have stuff on the building, I kind of really don't want to lose the building. Alright, and then that gives us 3 pillars, which I think finishes out all the pillars. So I think what we just need now is some ceilings, a whole ton of ceilings. So let's go get a lot of stone. But you can see we're 11 minutes into this, so quadruple that. So we're gonna have this whole thing built in under an hour real time. This will be, I think it ends up being like 18 minutes in speed up time. So it's not too bad. And what I'll probably do is I think the left side is going to be a lot of the stuff that I don't necessarily need any animals for, because I'm gonna put some ramps on the right hand side, and the idea there is like the Dodocurus and other sort of things, like an Enki or something that could walk up and drop off stuff. So if it had a ton of metal on them or something, they could just walk up to the refining forge and drop all stuff off, or walk up to storage boxes and I could just pull things off, move it to my inventory temporarily, and just move it over that one, and I don't have to move. So I could be encumbered if I wanted to be, and it wouldn't be such a big deal. Wait for little man to show up. There we are. You just start knocking these suckers out. It's fun watching it when you have a lot of supplies at one time, but you know, you have wait. Oh shoot! Crap! I needed one more pillar, and I had the stuff for it. There we are. Okay. So now, see, and this corner over here I can actually reach. I forgot what I was going to be doing right here. Oh, it's probably some, either just more ceilings. Oh, I know what I'm doing. Remember, I want to get the stone first. And there's a whole lot of stone right over here in this corner. It just seems a little weird. Oh, there he is. He's showing up. There's sometimes where he was, you couldn't see him, but you could see a shadow. And then you would just sort of pop in, which was really weird. Now, arc is weird. Big stone versus little stone doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a lot or a little. It's so this river stone, since it's all collected up together, I can collect a whole bunch without much trouble at all. And if we had a high level Dodocurus, we could have probably collected twice that amount. And it looks like I'm a little tired. So 11, and then we had already made 7, so we're gonna make, you know, 18, 19, something like that. So it won't be too bad. The nice thing about being a little high if you don't want animals to, okay, so about the wall thing. If you don't want wild animals bothering you, then you do need walls. But since I'm going to be over the water, wild animals tend to not really bother you anyway. Kind of whacked a parasaur right there. So, yeah, maybe you do want some walls, depending on where you're at, depending on what you're doing. Just so they don't bug you. I've had a base on a herbivore island before, and I had it actually in the water, but really close to land. And when Brontos start walking by, they get really annoying because they shake the screen and they're loud and they'll give you a headache after a while. Okay, now I think we can just drop a whole bunch down again. Make it look impressive. See how that back up right there? Because it was trying to snap at the low snap point. Alright, knock some of these dudes out. And if you notice, because I have the respawn of the resources like fairly quick, as long as I get far enough away from them, they'll respawn by the time I get back. I say that, but when we got to the river rock, there's normally a really big rock right there, and that has not respawned. So it's not 100% like that, but generally stuff respawns. So I got 19, 20 sealants. That would be pretty dang close. I actually know off the top of my head that I'm off by 3. So I'm trying something here. I want to make it so that you can very easily get to this big rock up here, but we're running into a problem right here, and I'm going to try to fix it with a pillar. But the problem is that we're overextended at this point. And I'm like, oh, well, I found a snap point. Great. No, I didn't. I didn't actually. See, I'm snapping to that rock, but that rock is not the ground. So it's not actually allowing me to treat that as a snap point for a foundation. So at this point, I'm like, it's going to be kind of hokey looking, because it's going to have 2 and then 1 and then to go over. But you'll see. We'll figure it out. A little spoiler that, you know, it all works out in the end. Okay, so I think that's literally all the ceilings that I need. I just needed 3 more of those. Making some ramps. And we are pretty close. We are so close. Okay, so drop those. Okay, the basic area is done. So we're gonna. So see, I can't even put the ramp at the front part, so I'm just gonna get rid of this whole little front section, and then put a ramp there. And now it's gonna work out just fine. And then so the corresponding front side, I'm gonna do a ramp too. So if I want to walk an animal all the way to that big rock area, that whole side is a double ramp all the way. I mean, you could get a Rex all the way across there if you wanted to. So that's about it, and that's the beginnings of the base. And if you have a Dota curious, you can make the stuff go a whole lot easier. So anyway, thank y'all for watching. I hope y'all enjoyed this, and we'll see y'all next time. And I realized I screwed up the ramp right there, so it latched to the bottom thing. So there we go. Now we're done. All right. Well, y'all have a good one. Subscribe below and like it or something like that. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.